Hello, it's Jody Mayberry, host of Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockrell, and I'm with Lee Cockrell in Orlando, Florida. We just finished our first ever live in-person mastermind. It was wonderful, and now we're in Lee's office in his house, and we're going to go over some of the items he's collected. Not long ago, he posted a video on Facebook just showing his office, and it brought up a lot of questions, maybe from you, but especially from me. So what we're going to do, we're going to sit down with Lee and talk about some of these items. I've selected a few I'm curious about. Lee even pulled a couple out that we're going to talk about. So now we're going to flip the video around and we're going to talk to Lee. Well, hello, Lee Cockrell.
Hey there. Welcome. We're glad you're staying with us.
Well, thank you. Well, let's talk about some of these, Lee. We're going to start right here. Hurricane Mickey. What's the story behind Hurricane Mickey?
Well, that was a big surprise. I managed all the control centers and the emergency centers during all the hurricanes at Walt Disney World and stayed there sometimes 2 and 3 nights, slept on the floor. We managed the whole thing from our emergency command center. And when I retired, they had this made for me, and they also had a nice story about how we were doing it, even with showing that hurricanes are often the shape of Mickey, and that we did them well. So this is prized possession. I just love it. And the Disney Central shops actually manufactured this and made it. They make a lot of this kind of stuff there for the parks. So yeah, it's great.
Lee, I think it should go on record that for the first time ever, I asked you a question that stumped you, and it involved Hurricane Mickey.
And the question was?
What are they made out of?
And I am not quite sure what you would exactly call this, but I'm going to call Jeff Volley, head of maintenance and engineering worldwide. He's the one who had this done. I'll ask him, and I'll come back to you on that.
So I've seen photos of this before, and I've seen it in your video. But one thing I didn't know about it, because you kind of have to get close to see it. He's wet, so when we get close, looks like raindrops on his coat, up there on his ears.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. He's out in the rain. Lee, there's a sheriff's hat on Hurricane Mickey. What's that about?
The sheriff's hat I put there, I did a seminar for the Seminole County here in Central Florida Sheriff's Department on leadership management and customer service, and they gave me that hat. So I thought I would wear it on the way home from that meeting, so maybe I wouldn't get a ticket if I got stopped, but that probably wouldn't work very well.
Lee, there's one more I want to talk about. Over there, you'll see, let me zoom in right there. We've got Pluto without a head. You can see his head in front. First of all, what happened to Pluto?
Pluto had a bad night one night. My grandkids were, when they were little, they were roughhousing up here. They used to come up here and have wars, like kids do. They'd climb in the attic. I'd come up here. It would be a total disaster after they were here. And Mickey was fine, but Pluto didn't do so well that night. He got hit by somebody, or one of them knocked him over and broke his head off. And he's going to go in for surgery soon and get that head replaced, because I get too many questions about poor Pluto. What happened to Pluto? Even your kids asked, so
They did.
I feel bad.
Yes, my daughter was really concerned that Pluto didn't have a head.
Yeah, we got to put Pluto back together again.
Tell us the history of Pluto.
Well, Pluto and Mickey and Minnie back in the back behind my desk. These were in my office when I worked at Disney, and they were certainly something to talk about with people who'd come to the office, and they were a great decor item, and of course that's what you would expect in a Disney executive's office. So that's how I got them. And Disney makes those. They make all this stuff. They have a shop that does this. They're really real artists, and they're incredible how well they do in making different things.
Yeah, I liked the Pluto, but I liked it even more once I knew the story that was in your office. And I didn't know it until right now about the Mickey and Minnie behind your desk.
Yeah.
That they were also there.
They were in there too.
So if you've ever seen Lee do a Skype interview or an interview of any sort where he's sitting at his desk, you see Mickey and Minnie in the background, and that's the story. And if I go up, you can see him back there just under the window. So a lot, and directly behind you, Lee, we'll address it since they're right here in the video, is that bookshelf. The top 2 shelves appear to be all military stuff.
I've been working for the military with them for about 17 years now. I met General Lloyd Austin back when he was a one-star general years ago when they came to do a leadership seminar here at Disney. The chief of staff of the Army brought them in, 1- and 2-star generals, 20 of them, and they spent several days with us, and I got to speak to them. And General Austin and I hit it off, and he started asking me to come to different bases. I've been to bases all over the country. He even brought me to Baghdad during the war in 2011. I spent a week there doing 13 seminars for the troops and for the State Department and the embassy there. And each time I do something, I get some nice piece from them. And I've got a big challenge coin collection back there that they give to people when you do something well for them. And I've got about 50 or 60 of those now. One lady told me the other day, she said, "You got more than I do," and I was in the military for 20 years. I said, well, but I love working with the military. It was an incredible trip to Baghdad, and yeah, that's kind of my giving back. I was in the Army, but I was a private, and I was a cook, so I didn't have too much danger in my life. So I've said I need to give more back to our country, and that's what's happened, and I enjoy it. And
Yeah.
of course, I don't charge them. It's complimentary for me. I really don't charge literally law enforcement or the military and health and human service organizations if I can do it and if I'm available. And so it's a good way to feel good about what you do and meet some great people.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this one because we're just doing these short segments to show you some of the things in Lee's office, but we've got more coming. We've got some neat things to show you. So Lee, we're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was great.